So yesterday was the Pehalgam false flag anniversary, the first anniversary, where allegedly India claimed that about 26 people have been killed by terrorists, and which followed up to the world's biggest BVR air fight on May 7th and later on May 10th. And on May 10th, everything was concluded. So I have deeply talked about this incident in my 1-year-old videos right on the day when India started to build up a campaign against Pakistan. Right away, like within 30 minutes of the incident, the F.I.R. was lodged against Pakistan. And a few people were blamed. But again, we had enough material to analyze and found out that whatever the official version of Pehalgam attack is, it doesn't get backed by the ground realities and the evidence online. So there's a French analyst, a British analyst. She did fact check about the pictures. The pictures posted online, and she found out that most of them were AI generated. So she came up with the proofs as well. And now, in order to defend that in the favor of Indians, I would say that to enhance a certain piece of news, because you are building up a propaganda against a country, against a sovereign country, you need the people's emotion, and because of the elections and a lot of things happening in the India right at that time. So yeah, two of those images were enhanced. But did this incident happen? Yes, it did. Were the casualties that much in number? No, I don't agree with that one, because there were no 26 funerals shown anywhere in India. And one of the guy even turned alive who was reported killed in the same incident. So we have, as Pakistanis, have our own concerns about Pahalgam attack, and clear line, bottom line, punch line, the standards that any act of terrorism is not supported, period. Pakistan is the biggest victim of terrorism itself, and we don't even to the worst rival on the eastern border. We don't want this to happen to commoners, to the civilians, people who are going out to have fun, and they end up coming back with funerals. And on the same way, I would also oppose the political agendas of the governments using their civilians as bait and going for the collateral damage and some damage that is going to bring a bigger cause to the country. That's also unacceptable, as in this case, Indian political government backed by their military people, they did it. So this whole incident was staged in a place which is surrounded by Indian army, especially this area, Pehalgam area. And this kind of act happens that people walked into this whole mountainous region for about 300 to 400 kilometers. Okay, let's say straight line is 150 kilometers from Pakistani border, and yet they went back and disappeared. So this is a huge failure on intelligence. If this has really happened, where was the military? So these are the questions that Indians have to ask, and from their government. And if they don't get the answers, they should know there's something fishy. In Pakistan, we have a lot of dissenting voices over different things, but everyone, each and every party, including the ruling party, including the military leadership, including the opposition of Pakistan, condemned the attack on Pahalgam. Everyone did. And only the condemnation is not enough. What else could you do? Pakistan offered to have a third party involved, provide us with the proofs, and we are gonna act accordingly because we have signed FATF, the Financial Action Task Force, which is backed by 40 countries, and those 40 countries have cleared Pakistan of any terrorism involvements. Now, the terrorism for people could be a freedom fighting act for others. Kashmiris, on the other hand, are backed by UN resolutions that they are having a peaceful freedom movement going on in Indian occupied Kashmir, and they're allowed to do that. And same was the case in Pakistani administrated Kashmir as well. If there is any freedom movement, Pakistan should welcome that one, but there are none because people are living happily. I am from that area, and I live in that area, so I think at the moment, I'm the best judge. Of course, not all five fingers are the same. Not all Kashmiris are going to think this way I think, but the reality is, there are no freedom movements in Pakistani administered Kashmir, but in India, there are. So if those are addressed, they're given the freedom of right, they're giving the freedom of self-determination, this problem would have been solved long ago. But since 1948, we're still waiting. And luckily, after May 10th, Kashmir has become not a bilateral issue. It was always an international issue. The first resolution passed in 1948-49. It was by including Brazil. 8 countries, they vouched that this vote of self-determination should have happened. Even Scotland got their referendum to choose to stay in the UK or not. They failed, but at least they were given that right. But why not the Kashmiris? Many people still talk about Balochistan. So the history is very clear about different things. One is the princely states, if they had a referendum in their country or the selected governments, they have signed this pact with any of the countries, then that area belongs to that country. So there was a referendum held on 7th March, I think, if not March, July 1947, where Balochis, they choose to be with Pakistan. In Kashmir, that has not happened yet. So that should have happened in 1949 when the first resolution was passed, but then it was stalled. And after Simla Accord, signed by Bhutto's 1971 1971 war, well, India thinks it's a bilateral issue, but no, it's a UN-backed crisis and has to be solved by the UN policies. So these are my 2 cents for anniversary of Pehalgam attack, and I hope the families, I think 4 or 5 families, they lost their beloved ones, and they should find a peace. My playlist is specific about this attack. I used like an hour-long videos, about 3 videos on this special issue. So if you're interested, go ahead and watch them. Come back to me. So this was all from my side. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.